Today we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing with fractions. There are three different scenarios where we can multiply a fraction by a fraction by a whole number, and then either mixed number by mixed number or a mixed number by a fraction. Let's start out with a fraction by a whole number. When I'm multiplying with a fraction by a whole number, I'm going to write my fraction, so 5/6 times, and I have to turn my whole number into a fraction, so I'm going to do that by placing it over 1. I'm going to multiply my numerators, so I'm going to go straight across the top. 5 times 40 is 200, and then I'm going to multiply my denominators, and I'm going to go straight across the bottom. 6 times 1 is 6. I'm left with an improper fraction, and I cannot leave my answer this way. I need to turn it into a mixed number. In order to do that, my division bar right here, my fraction bar, means to divide. So I'm going to take 200 divided by 6. So 6 can't go into 2, but 6 can go into 20 3 times. And then 20 minus 18 is 2. Bring down my 0. 6 goes into 20 3 times. 18 minus 20 is 2. Now, this is where we're going to have to switch mindsets. Instead of adding a decimal, bringing it to the top, and annexing a 0, I'm going to stop here and say, okay, my whole number is going to be 33. My numerator is going to be 2. And then my denominator is going to stay the same at 6. So my mixed number is going to be 33 whole and 2 over 6. I cannot leave my answer this way, though, because my fraction 2/6 is not in simplest form. So I can divide my numerator and denominator both by 2 to get 33 and 1/3. So my answer is 33 and 1/3. So let's practice again with 15 times 4/5. So I have my 15 over 1. I'm going to write my whole number as a fraction times 4/5. I'm going to multiply my numerators. So 15 times 4 is 60. 1 times 5 is 5. So again, I cannot leave this as an improper fraction. So off to the side, I'm going to put 60 in the house and 5 knocks at the door. 5 goes into 6 one time. Bring down my 0. 5 goes into 10 2 times. So my answer would be 12 over 1, or 12. When we're multiplying by just two fractions, and you'll see that there is the word of here. To help you coming up with when we are multiplying in a word problem scenario, the word of also means to multiply. So giving that practice here, 3/4 of 1/2, I'm going to go through and multiply 3 times 1, which are my numerators, to get 3. 4 times 2 is 8. In this case, 3 and 8 don't have any factors in common, so my answer is just 3/8. My last one that we're going to do together is 4 1/8 times 5 1/2. And you can see in my anchor chart over here that before I can do any multiplying, I have to convert my mixed number into an improper fraction. And I've given the steps to the left, but I want to make sure we walk through them together. So we have 4 1/8 I'm going to multiply, let me switch colors here because that's hard to see. 4 1/8. We're going to multiply the denominator times the whole number to get 32. And then I'm going to add that to the numerator. So my improper fraction is 33/8 times, well, I need to do the same thing for 5 1/2. So with 5 1/2, I'm going to do 2 times 5, which is 10. And 10 plus 1 is 11. So we have 11 halves. So this is where I'm going to multiply my numerators, and I'm going to go through and multiply my denominators. Well, off the bat, I can see I know that 8 times 2 is 16, 33 times 11, just to make sure I don't make any mistakes. I'm going to write it down. So I end up with 363. And then I cannot leave this as 363 divided by 16 because it's improper. I need to turn it back into a mixed number. I'm kind of running out of room, so I'm going to slide my work over. And I am going to take 363 and divide it by 16. So 16 goes into 36 twice. Bring down my 3. 16 goes into 43 twice. So I'm left with 11. So my whole number is 22. My new numerator is what's left over, which is 11. And then my denominator stays the same as 16. So my answer would be 22 and 11/16. I'm going to stop here and let you guys go through and do your practice with 2/3 times 21, 5 times 2/3, 4/5 of 2/3, and 2 1/6 times 4 2/3. You can check the video posted on the daily agenda with the answers to make sure that you're practicing correctly. If you still don't understand after you practice and you checked your answers, this is where you guys can send me an email. We can video chat and work through these together.